let me bring in B.L. Vora. Mr. Vora, how would you assess the current security situation on ground in Manipur after 2 years of ethnic violence? Do you think that for the people who are in relief camps in Churachandpur and in other parts, and the fact that there is a buffer zone in existence between the Kuki area and the Meitei area, there is a clear division which exists on ground, how will that gap be bridged after this visit of the Prime Minister?
So you have raised 2-3 points, but first answer to the first is situation is better. Violence is much less than what it was. I think we all need to acknowledge that. Now, definitely, the visit of the Prime Minister, which is a landmark event, means that things have improved. Now, his visit to both to Churachandpur and to Imphal, and he went by road at one place for helicopters reason. I think, yes, symbolic, but it is a big thing. And there were some people on the roadside with flags and all. Some people will say, of course, it is stage managed. That always happens. And job of opposition is naturally to oppose. Now, coming to what you said, the basic issues are 4-5. Free movement, rehabilitating the displaced, inter-community dialogue and development, and of course, a government formation at the end. I think these are, if you ask me, these are the major issues which are very challenging. A lot of time has passed. I'm sure the intentions are good, the intentions are honest, but a lot of hard work and sincerity is needed by all the groups, by everyone on the ground. I think it will take time.
Yes.
But I think one big question for me is the machinery which is going to handle all this situation should be totally overhauled and changed. And what I mean by machinery is the bureaucracy and the police. Basically, it comes down to two, basically.
Okay.
And of course, the border situation and other things.
Yes. Let me bring in Beena Lakshmi now. Beena Lakshmi, I have reported from the relief camps there, the women are the worst sufferers whenever it is about ethnic violence. If you look at the tears of this young girl who was present in that meeting of the Prime Minister, she perhaps summed it up when it comes to that pain and suffering that the gender undergoes. They will also be the first to ensure that those deep fissures get healed as well. So women, besides being the worst sufferers, are also the first movers in ensuring that the heal is there.
Yes, absolutely. But first of all, we must note that what happened in the last 2.5 years, the darkest time in the history of Manipur, 3.3 million Manipuris will not forget, both in the hills and valley, that there was an attempt to, and to cause hurt and harm to one of the most beautiful states, border states, which the Prime Minister also mentioned as a jewel of India, the jewel of the Northeast on which development will rise again. So one of the things that we wanted to share is absolutely the fact that, yes, the Prime Minister came, we welcome that, but on the other hand, the wound is not healed. His speech in 3 hours visit to Manipur was about education, was about women's hostels. It was about a lot of developments. But what people of Manipur need is hope, healing, and sort of healing that has really ruptured our lives. Not that it isn't. But most importantly, as women groups, Maria, it is very important to know that the sexual abuse, the kind of criminality which has reduced in many parts because of this, the kind of suicides which has been increased in relief camps. In the relief camps, only 80 rupees per day is given to the inmates, 80 rupees, which they want to increase to 150. Women needed sewing machines. The basic practical, the numbers look very big, 3,500 crores or 7,500 crores. But when it comes to ground reality, Maria, it's still not there on ground zero, where people are able to sort of get support and the healing that it needed. But most importantly, we must remember that the Prime Minister is not just an executive and administrative duty which is announced, but it is also constitutional legal duties. The duty to protect the civilians are protected, the duty that there is no sort of discrimination in terms of what's happening there. But more so, the main issue that Manipuris are addressing, not to touch the territorial boundary of the state, which in 1949 that the government of India has agreed to hold on to. The other thing in the issue of what is happening in Myanmar, impact on the region of in terms of undocumented migration, which is happening. The third issue that till today, I have just returned from visiting several relief camps myself and entering buffer zones where we have seen the Manipuri women still in a state of fear. When will the attack take place? The Manipuri farmer still worried, when will the attack take place? The fact that, can you imagine a buffer zone between Haryana and Punjab?
Beena Lakshmi, that's actually very well put, because the concern with regards to that buffer zone. Suhas Chakma, internal displacement and rehabilitation of affected communities. The relief has been provided after the ethnic violence, but people have to go back to their respective homes. How will that happen? I mean, for that, there has to be that confidence between the communities, between the hills and the valley, between the Kukis and the Meiteis. And in a state which has a buffer zone and ghettoization of that nature, how will the two communities coexist?
Well, I may sound absolutely pessimistic. I mean, the all over the place, not only in India, has not seen a case where people who were displaced and they were rehabilitated properly. It has not taken place. From 1947 till today, look at each of the conflicts, whether in mainland India or Northeast India, including Assam, Mizoram, or in Manipur, not only the current situation, even in the 1990s. You never have a situation where the government is able to, in a way, rehabilitate the people or successfully rehabilitate the people. It has not happened, and I do not think it's going to happen in Manipur either. That's the hard reality. And I think the biggest problem in this is the hardened position of both the communities. The issue is, I think, when the conflict started, it didn't start with the problem of one community demanding some kind of administrative arrangement and the other community seeking scheduled tribe status. Just one particular incident, which out of hand on 3rd of May 2023, then of course I think the entire Manipur basically was burned into ashes. So it basically requires, whether we see in Bangladesh, Nepal, or in Manipur, that one particular issue could spark the entire state. And that's where I think the problems with democracies, or the democracies not being able to address. But as far as the rehabilitation of the IDPs is concerned, I'm sorry to say that I have not seen a good case in the Northeast. And I have worked on the IDPs for as long as for the last 30 years. And I have not seen a good case of rehabilitation of the IDPs, either in Bodoland, either of the Bros who are settled in Tripura, and I don't think it's going to be any exception in Manipur. I think accountability also will become a victim. I think what we'll see, unfortunately, it's the time is possibly the only means to heal it, and that's what is going to take it when people suffer from fatigue and etc., and they come back to unfortunate reality.
We certainly hope that this region, which has seen volatility for years now, is not forgotten. And what is being underscored with Prime Minister's visit is the intent to integrate Manipur not just economically, but emotionally and politically also.